Unitarian Universalist church, building community, inspiring growth, creating change. Here in the heart of Kansas City, we come together to create this hour of shared reflection so that we might be renewed in courage for these times and inspired to lives of greater dignity, higher purpose, deeper generosity, and more effective action. May the words and music and images that we offer today nourish our best selves, calling forth abundant wisdom and love, a love that has the power to overcome both loneliness in the heart and oppression in the world. Welcome to our service.
Arise, O souls, arise.
Good morning. I'm Don Dickey, a member of this church, and it is my pleasure, my privilege to welcome you here, whether you're here in the room, watching us online, on this Father's Day in 2024. It's also just a few days ahead of June 20th, which is the summer solstice, and the sun will begin its annual march south. Your presence here enriches all of us. Thank you. Now, join me in extending a special welcome to our guest musician, Amari Lewis. You may be new here this morning. Welcome. I hope that you have visited the welcome table in the lobby where you can learn more about our congregation. Would All Souls members who want to meet visitors please raise your hands? Visitors, as you feel comfortable, I encourage you to talk with any of these people who have raised their hands, which is pretty much all of them. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation. Our tradition is a large tent with room for many beliefs and approaches to the questions that matter. That said, our values of inclusion, compassion, and justice are strong and hold us together. We seek to build the beloved community, making room for everyone and creating a world where everyone's needs are met. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears, you are welcome here. You are invited to join us with an open mind, a loving heart, and willing hands. We welcome you today. First-time visitors and visitors who have not shared a lunch with us, please be our guests for lunch today. You need only pick up a ticket from our welcome table, which is in the lobby, and you will be our guest. We look forward to making your acquaintance and sharing conversation while breaking bread.
So one of the challenges of being responsible for Sunday services is that there are so many things that we need to recognize. It is impossible to create a timely service for all of the important dates and topics. I'm not preaching about Father's Day this morning, but I do recognize the commitment of people who father and parent. Thank you for raising children. Thank you for the hard and messy jobs, the uncomfortable conversations, the care and the joy. Your influence on children is profound and important. Happy Father's Day. I also recognize that today is not a joyful occasion for everyone. Many of us touch on the grief that our fathers have died, or that our relationships with them are troubled. Some of us have wanted to father and parent, but for whatever reason, it was not possible. And for some parents, the dichotomy of Mother's Day and Father's Day does not work for their gender identity or for their family structure. Because families and people are inherently complicated. So let us hold all of the truths of our experiences of parenting close to our hearts and celebrate the wonder of supporting and caring for growing, learning children. And today I am not preaching about Juneteenth, which is Wednesday, June 19th. I celebrate, though, with my Black siblings in marking emancipation. Some call it the Second Independence Day, June 19th, 1865, when Union soldiers, having fully won the war and being able to enforce it, announced the Emancipation Proclamation in Galveston, Texas, the last state to receive this news. So we celebrate freedom, the most basic of freedom through bodily autonomy and the highest aspirations of what true freedom might be. Formerly enslaved people started celebrating Juneteenth annually right from the start, and that practice spread. And yet, as a white person, I only learned of this holiday in the last 10 years. For many of us, it may not have been until it was made a federal holiday 3 years ago. This holiday is important for all of us, even if we're not invited to the barbecues with strawberry soda pop. America was freed on Juneteenth, and that affects us all. My sermon today is, however, inspired by Autism Pride Day, which is on Tuesday, June 18th. Our opening words are from UU minister Amy Bowden Friedman. A white person, she still draws from the powerful spiritual, "Sometimes I feel like a motherless child." Let us hold with us this morning through these words both the pain and longing that enslaved persons experienced while held in bondage by white Americans, and the hope and joy and relief that Juneteenth marks. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Here, may you find a warm greeting, a kind word, a gentle touch. Sometimes I feel like I have no friend. Here, may you find a community of support, a pulse of liberation, a vision of hope. Sometimes I feel I am almost gone. Here, may you find a song to sing, a moment of silence, a hand to hold, even when you are a long way from home. May these walls give you shelter. May this community break through your loneliness, and may you feel the embrace of a larger spirit of life and love. Come, let us worship together.
Here, today, in this place and with these people, may we listen so that we can hear. May we hear so that we can feel. May we feel so that we can know. And may we know so that we can change ourselves and this world. May this chalice we light our way. Please stand as you are able and join in the affirmation of our covenant, then remain standing as we join together in song. Together we affirm, goodwill is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the spirit of God. We are mothers of courage and fathers of time. We are daughters of dust and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy and brothers of love. We are lovers of life and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are.
I would like to invite the young and the young at heart to come forward and sit before me so that you can see how cool this book is. Come on down, and anyone who wants to see the actual book and not just the pictures on the screen that are slightly condensed because the book's bigger than the photocopier, please come see them. Yay, I've got a Beth and a Jonda! Woohoo! And we have other people. Yay! Okay. So this book is called Not Quite Narwhal. Not Quite Narwhal. Okay, and something that those of you are never going to see on the screen is that the cover jacket for this book is iridescent. It shimmers. I mean, I liked this book as a book, but this just sells it. All right. Kelp, this is kelp, was born deep in the ocean. He knew early on that he was different from the other narwhals. His tusk wasn't as long as everyone else's. He had different tastes in food, and he wasn't a very good swimmer. But his friends didn't seem to mind, so Kelp decided that he wouldn't either. Kelp found himself at the surface, closer to land than he'd ever been before, and high up on a cliff, he spotted a mysterious, sparkling creature. It looked so familiar. It looked just like kelp. So kelp swam toward land as fast as he could, which wasn't very fast at all, hoping that he could catch up with the creature that looked just like him. And when he finally reached the shore, kelp felt a little bit anxious. He had never left the ocean. He was nervous about walking for the first time, but the land creatures made it look so easy. Oof, it wasn't. Ow. He's going about the same speed as a turtle. Eventually, he got the hang of it. Everything on land was strange and beautiful, but also kind of scary. Kelp began to think he might never find the creature that looked just like him. But as he stumbled out of the forest, land narwhals! Actually, we're unicorns, and by the looks of it, so are you. Kelp had never heard of unicorns before. They taught him all sorts of new things about his tusk. We call them horns. Wow! They introduced him to unicorn delicacies, unicone, and they showed him how to gallop. There was no doubt that kelp was, in fact, a unicorn. He was having so much fun that he didn't want to leave. But then he remembered all of his friends under the sea. Kelp missed them terribly, so he said goodbye to the unicorns and returned to the ocean. That's what helps him to breathe when he's under the ocean. Kelp swam toward home as fast as he could, which wasn't very fast at all, hoping that the narwhals would still like him now that he was a unicorn. When he finally arrived, Kelp had butterflies in his stomach, big welcome home banner, and they're screaming out, "Kelp!" Kelp took a very deep breath and told his friends the news. Turns out, I'm not a narwhal. Of course you aren't. I'm a unicorn. Oh, we all knew that. Kelp was happy to be home, but now that he'd experienced life on land with the unicorns, he couldn't seem to forget them. Did he want to be a land narwhal with the unicorns or a sea unicorn with the whales? Kelp couldn't decide. But then he realized that maybe, just maybe, he didn't have to choose. And then the last picture, I just love with the rhinoceros. I'm a unicorn! And Kelp's all like, So that is a story about sometimes learning something about yourself that helps you figure out where you belong. And sometimes you can belong everywhere that you want to. So let us sing our children to their classes. And someone just can't wait.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Brian Doyle. I'm a proud member of All Souls, as well as a newly board trustee member. Very happily. Two things I want to say. I do want to recognize that it is Father's Day. And all of you fathers out there, to your children and your cats and your dogs, happy day. I know it's hard for you every day. And like myself, I think a lot of us maybe don't have our fathers anymore. Which brings me to Dr. Julie Kaler. Mom, stand up, please. A year ago, my mom brought me here. I was lost after a bit of, things happen. But I came here and was so accepted. And thank you for that. We have blood relatives like my lovely mom, but we also have chosen family. We are all chosen family. I talk to each one of you and I learn something every day that I'm here. Generally, when I'm up here, I'm singing, but now I'm just saying, you are my chosen family. We are all chosen family. As a gay man, it's something that's very important to me coming up in the world. So with that, this offering is greatly received and given. please join me with the dedication of the offering. We dedicate our offerings and our actions to the mission at the heart of this congregation, to build a respectful community, to inspire personal and spiritual growth, and to create change toward a just and compassionate society.
The first reading this morning is from the writings of Amy Sequenza, who is a passionate autistic activist, writer, and poet. This is my voice, my life. My life through the years I've been listening to this, it's enough to bring out tears. I need it to immediately cease. They talk about my existence, about my right to be. I'm running out of patience. I know who I am me. Cure, treat, fix, change. Words that hurt deep in my soul. If I do all that they demand, my essence is lost, nowhere to go. They know what to say to scare. They do this intentionally. But now it is my turn to dare. I'm not backing down silently. Not backing down at all, not flinching, not turning around, facing them and their hate wall. I have strength, round after round. In the darkest moments of this fight, I will search for the truth inside. I will find the words so bright. It is my turn, my story, my mind. When they talk again about me, let them know I am still here. I have not ceased to be. I speak loud in the big sphere, non-compliant, rebellious, radical. This is the choice I made. I will not be their normal. I'd rather be me and not fade.
You Matter by Matthew Rosen, adapted by Erin, Dajka, Holley. There is no one like you, never will be again, from the birth of its earth to its outermost end. You, an eager shout, a sacred yes that moves your flesh, your bone, and your breath. You, she, he, they, them, you are whole and okay, gracefully teaching your truth and your way. You cannot be forgotten. We cherish you so. Your voice, your hands can do more than you know. You upend every rock and pursue every glimmer and give a new name to each sparkle and shimmer. You chart out new paths, go beyond our horizons, new friendships, new stories. Your hope is always rising. You, welcome, wanted, whatever your skin, wherever the neighborhood you were born in. You, play across fences that keep us divided. Old walls become weak where your love is ignited. You call us to kindness and questions, reminding the life of our living is found in the finding. You, There is no one like you, never will be again, from the birth of the earth to its outermost end. You matter. You do.
Thank you, Amari. That's my theme song. What have you done to try to fit in? Like, really think about it. Think about how you felt When you knew that something about you wasn't like the others? How did you respond? I'm imagining that everyone in this room has at some point not fit in. I'm assuming that everyone in this room changed their behavior in some way in order to be accepted. What family doesn't teach its children what is considered acceptable for the family? In order to make sure that caregivers and siblings are accepting and loving, we do as we're told, even if it goes against what feels right for us. Some of these moments and adjustments come naturally. We don't remember doing it, only knowing that things were always done a certain way in our families. And others might be harder, where we remember the exact moment that we went along with expectations, leaving behind some small piece, or maybe larger piece, of who we were. Because it's important to fit in. We are social creatures, and love and acceptance is not simply something we seek, but something we need. Our hearts reach out to others to be seen, to be known, to be reassured that we're okay. We need to feel that we are loved. We need to feel included, accepted. It's hardwired into the vast majority of us. This desire for connection, this requirement to be part of a group. Acceptance by others lets us know that we're okay. So we change ourselves and adapt to try to be what is accepted, to try to fit in. But what does it mean to our own sense of self to do this? When we gain acceptance and belonging, do we also lose our own identity? Maybe that acceptance and belonging is worth it. In middle school, I made a couple of friends who were different from me. Their life experiences were different from mine, and we didn't quite share the same values. Because throughout my childhood, I was consistently the outcast and not accepted, so having friends was kind of a wonderful change. They listened to current popular music, so I listened to current popular music. They thought headbanging was cool, so I remember impressing them how cool it looked when I tried headbanging with my shoulder-length, massively thick hair, which was in all other ways very uncool at the time. I even went to a sleepover at one of their homes, learning after arriving that it was unchaperoned. And somehow I got through the night without calling my parents to bring me home. But I was so uncomfortable and scared as they spiked my soda and made prank phone calls that led to police vehicles turning around in the driveway several times while we hid in the dark. It wasn't me. None of it was me, and I can look back at that time and see the diminishment of my own self as I pretended to be someone else. Because maybe, just maybe, I could fit in. Your stories don't match mine, but we do have them in common. We've felt the pain of rejection, the despair of ostracization, the longing to belong. Because I never quite fit in. As a child, no matter how hard I tried, my peers did not accept me. I remember in elementary school sitting alone at lunch, being alone at recess, and that continued throughout my childhood, my adolescence, my college years, and so on. I went 40 years not knowing that I wasn't like most other people, but not knowing why. I accepted it, I mourned it, and I kind of just went through life knowing that I was different and always wondering how I could shift myself to be accepted, but still me. And then during the pandemic, as many of us turned to social media to feel some kind of connection to others, I saw posts from friends describing neurodivergent traits as they show up in people assigned female at birth. And those posts described a lot of my experience. And I wondered whether this was the answer to my being different. So I asked my doctor about it, and she referred me for testing. And 1 month before my 40th birthday, I sat in a little office with a big air purifier, wearing an N95 mask, and was told that I'm autistic. So that first day, as I tried on this new identity, as I watched all of those broken, wounded parts of me try to come together, I found a profound sense of relief. I'm different. And no matter what I do, I will always be different because my body experiences the world differently, because I'm not wired like most other people. This is me. So I posted, "It's official, I'm autistic," to my personal Facebook page. And the first response was from a beloved colleague who's probably 15 years older than I am. And he asked, "The proper response to this is?" And I learned that not everyone is aware of how a diagnosis can come as a relief, as a joy. Outside of my circle of middle-aged and younger educated liberal people, an autism diagnosis apparently isn't a good thing. It's not something you're supposed to shout from the rooftops. You're supposed to hide it. But I'd been trying to hide it for 40 years. And that wasn't working for me. Sure, people didn't look at me and see an autistic person. I'm quirky, but I'm articulate. I can sit still. I don't flap all of the time. I make eye contact. I have empathy. I don't look or act like Rain Man or Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. Of course, I'd always been hiding it. Like most autistic people assigned female at birth, I quickly picked up as a child how I was supposed to act. I learned how to tramp down my excitement and energy. I found ways to make tiny, repetitive movements that people wouldn't notice. And I really just can't even enumerate all of the ways that I adapted myself in order to fit in, because there are too many. And I didn't realize that I was doing it. In autistic circles, we call it masking. When we take on mannerisms and ways that hide our autistic traits, we mask. It's like playing pretend, but all the time. I grew up always pretending to be allistic, which means not autistic, or neurotypical, which means having a neurology that matches the norm. Please know, pretending to be different than you are all of the time, to the point that you have no idea you're even doing it, is exhausting. I pretended. I masked for so hard and for so long that now that I know I'm autistic, I'm needing to figure out which parts of me are truly me and which are the mask. What have you done to try to fit in? How have you tried to change yourself so that you could seem like everybody else? And where, in all of those changes, deep inside, is the truth of who you are? I am one of many, many people who have more recently been diagnosed autistic as adults. Now, it looks as though the rate of autism diagnosis has exploded in recent years. But it's not because there are more autistic people than before. It's because we understand autism better and that it shows up so differently in different people. When autism was first clinically described, the doctors thought it was only present in boys. They described it as significant traits that made it impossible for those boys to interact with and function in the world as it is. And please know that the term Asperger is the name of the Nazi doctor who was categorizing the boys with these traits into those who should be killed for their disability and those who might be productive and could be spared. So Asperger's syndrome was those who could be spared. Most autistic people, we don't use that name anymore. We call ourselves autistic and prefer to describe ourselves as high needs and low needs. So I don't need a lot of assistance or accommodations. So I am autistic with very low needs. Now, some autistic activists, such as the poet Amy Sequencia, who wrote our first reading, they need significant assistance and have high needs. High needs autistic people may be nonverbal or have difficulties controlling their bodies. While we share the same traits, we are each unique in how those traits show up in us. So in diagnosis, we now understand that girls, or people assigned female at birth, are autistic just as often as boys, or people assigned male at birth. It just looks different. Girls usually learn to mask very early and very well. We are often well-behaved and good students. I had a teacher tell me in 5th grade that he wished he could simply clone me to have a class of just Erins. Why would anyone think that I had a neurological disability while I was a straight A student? So the numbers of autistic people grow as young people assigned female at birth are included in those who can be diagnosed, as well as all of us adults who are recognizing autism in ourselves and requesting diagnosis. It's not a fad. We're not overdiagnosed. We're simply playing catch-up after so many decades of underdiagnosis. And that's a truth of any identity that has been stigmatized and shunned by society. When society becomes more lenient, when there is more room for acceptance and less genuine risk, more people who have always had that identity stop hiding it. This happened as the Pride movement developed and pushed society to make it more possible for gay, lesbian, and bisexual people to live openly. And more recently, it has been happening around gender identity, as transgender people have also lived more openly, and people are talking about how they experience gender in a kaleidoscope of ways. It seems like a sudden flood of these identities. But these people and these identities have always been there. The experience of gender has always been highly variable among people. The experience of sexuality has always been highly variable. People have always fit outside of the norms and standards dictated by society, and they have hidden themselves away, become who they truly never were, because it was necessary to experience acceptance by society and the safety that comes with required conformity. Hiding who we really are isn't limited to sexuality, gender, or neurotype. All of us have done it in some way or another, subverted our own needs and truths in order to fit in. And what worries me the most is what happened to me, what I'm still trying to regain. Where is my true identity under the masking? What is truly me And what is the mask? Because we all are shaped by society, by social constructs and social expectations, and I know that it is impossible to truly separate nature from nurture. We are an amalgam of that which is inherent to us and the ways that we adapt to our surroundings. Yes. And I will continue to struggle with this desire to know my true self because it feels important. What feels most important to me, however, is that we ask the questions. Do we simply accept that society has shaped us, has forced us into specific molds for the easiest categorization and for control? Is that what it is? Just, it is what it is. It's not worth exploring? Or do we want to spend the time to learn more of who we are, of what is true and right for us? And are we up for the challenge of letting more and more of our true selves be seen? Look out, because here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. It is the time of Pride, the month when the LGBTQIA+ communities unabashedly assert themselves for everything that it means to be queer without backing down. It's a celebration of self and community, and at the same time, it channels the anger at being forced to hide, of not being accepted inherently. Pride, a daring to assert truth of self in the face of judgment. Tuesday is Autism Pride Day. Not Awareness Day or Acceptance Month in April, which are about asking neurotypical people to recognize that we exist, or to think that it's okay that we exist. No. Autism Pride Day is our own assertion that we are here, that we love who we are, including being autistic, that we are indeed glorious. Disability activist Eli Clare writes, "Pride works in direct opposition to internalized oppression. The latter provides fertile ground for shame, denial, self-hatred, and fear. The former encourages anger, strength, and joy. To transform self-hatred into pride is a fundamental act of resistance. That is fighting shame and claiming self. The ways in which you have hidden yourself away might not place you on the margins, might not have led to your systemic oppression. And yet, as you acknowledge them and who you are, I hope that you will feel the same pride. Shout it from the rooftops. This is me. This is me. Our task is to be who we are, wrote 20th century UU minister Kenneth Patton. To be who we are, in every way we can be, our salvation proceeding in putting ourselves back together after each tumble. We iridescence, we shine and radiate, we exclaim and roar, we are. Thank you, Ken Patton. We are. Know yourself. Learn who you truly are when you dance in the dark of your own home when no one is watching. And take pride in your truth of self. Exclaim, roar, claim who you are, and find ways to live it in the open. It's not easy. There are risks. And living truly and openly is a blessing that comes with its own love and acceptance. And I believe that love is greater than what we get when we fit in. It is love of self that expands ever outward into the world, the glory of being true. And that same love comes back to you, your true you. Let us love ourselves. Let us love one another, and may our love and the love that transcends all things expand forever throughout the world and beyond. May it be so. Spirit, and let us sing, I Know This Rose Will Open.
And we're going to sing it once together, and then this side can follow me, and then this side can follow Amari twice, and then we'll do it once all together. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know that my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open.
We release this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Find yourself. Know yourself. Know that who you are is glorious. Let it shine in the world. And know that as you shine, the world shines, and the sparkle is love.